Season 3 of The Wheel of Time has come to a close, but each of the main characters should return in Season 4 to continue their narratives. The epic fantasy TV series is adapted from Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time books, but due to the order of events being changed to better fit the television medium, it's become harder to discern where exactly the show will go from here. Season 3 adapted The Shadow Rising, which would make The Fires of Heaven the natural progression, but it likely won't be so straightforward. The Amazon Prime Video adaptation skipped Book 3, The Dragon Reborn, meaning they'll likely go back for at least the important parts. The Wheel of Time show's next book to adapt will primarily be The Fires of Heaven, but the series also seems to have set up stories from Lord of Chaos and even Towers of Midnight, the 13th book in the series. These are just predictions, but they're based on how the events of the season unfolded for specific characters. Rand's story heading into Season 4 is possibly the most clear. As the Dragon Reborn, he needs to continue fulfilling the Karathon cycle, the prophecy that will help prepare him for the last battle. The next step, at least in the chronology of the books, is a step backward, as he needs to obtain the Sangreal sword, Kalander, from a fortress known as the Stone of Tyr. This may have come as a point of confusion to book readers, as that happens before The Shadow Rising in Robert Jordan's version. Speaking with Radio Times before the season, producer and Moiraine actress Rosamund Pike explained skipping The Dragon Reborn, saying, "We haven't neglected the Stone of Tyr, we've just rearranged the order." Moiraine also mentioned in The Wheel of Time Season 3's ending that now, with the Aile on Rand's side, he'll have an army to take the Stone of Tyr. Obtaining Kalander will likely be Rand's next objective, but after that, he can continue with his narrative from the Fires of Heaven, taking him to Kumlin, the capital city of Endor. 5. Moiraine and Lan. Moiraine's fate might drastically change in the show. Moiraine's story going forward is somewhat confusing, as her character actually disappears for several novels in the middle of the Fires of Heaven. This occurs during a battle with Lanfear, where the two of them fall through a redstone gateway and aren't seen again. Given that we already saw Moiraine and Lanfear go at it in the Season 3 finale and that Rosamund Pike is the show's main star and one of its producers, it seems doubtful they'd kill her off for a significant portion of the story. The best prediction I have is that Moiraine will learn of the events at the White Tower and, hearing of Swan Sanche's fate, will take up much of her role in the subsequent novels after she's done grieving. This means mentoring Egwene and helping the rebel Aes Sedai faction form against Eleda's White Tower. Lan was barely featured in The Wheel of Time Season 3, but there were multiple hints at his regal past. His storyline could lead him back to Nineveh, or he could simply remain by Moiraine's side for the time being. 4. Mat. Mat's show differences make him hard to pin down. Mat has been one of the most difficult characters to predict in the television adaptation, because he's been almost entirely out of place since Season 2 began. Mat spends The Shadow Rising and a decent amount of the Fires of Heaven in the Aile Waste with Rand, so the fact that he was in Tenchiko in Season 3 likely means further deviation for his character. He may continue to follow Nineveh and Elaine, or he could reunite with Rand in Caerhine. Mat Cauthon is a fantastic character in the books, but he's been sidelined for most of the TV series. Much of his conflict in the book sees him trying to escape from Aes Sedai, the One Power, and even Rand al'Thor, once he realizes that his friend is the Dragon Reborn. He wants little to do with responsibility of any sort, which is why he wishes to be rid of the One Power when he meets the Eelfin in the books. Given the show's differences in his development, his narrative is challenging to predict. 3. Perrin. Perrin will resolve his conflict with the White Cloaks. Perrin's return to the Two Rivers in Season 3 was fairly direct from The Shadow Rising, but his path forward is more difficult to ascertain. Book 4 of Jordan's series ends with Perrin refusing to be apprehended by the White Cloaks, then they leave, and he remains in the Two Rivers to recover from his battle wounds, making him absent in the Fires of Heaven. The TV series isn't going to eliminate Perrin for an entire season, which is probably why they changed his ending to have him go with the White Cloaks.